Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Shai Bashem Mukakudah. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. I'm going to try to make this quick. Let's see where the Spirit takes me. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, The Idumeans Fought Side by Side with Judah to try to get to the kingdom of heaven. So there's a lot of information I was going to, but I'm just going to cherry pick from this this right here that you see in front of you. It says history, Herodian dynasty, Antipater, the Idumean. Just give you some information. Was the founder of the Herodian dynasty and father of Herod the Great. According to Josephus, he was the son of Antipater and had formerly held that name. A native of Idumea, Antipater became a powerful official under the latter Hasmonean kings that's during the time of the Maccabees, and subsequently became, I'm not going to click on that, y'all can do that yourself. Now you know what I'm going to do? Let me do this. I'm going to open up another. Okay, they don't tell you about his wife. Antipater, the first Idumean, was the founder of the Herodian dynasty. Son of Antipas. Let me just open this up. Antipater the Idumean, procurator of Judea. So they had that seat. They were dealing with the Romans. I'm trying to find. Let me do it this way. Bear me for a minute. The first wife, Doris, he was named after his parental grandfather, Antipater the Idumean. He and his mother. Okay, I found it. Nabatean, which she's an Arab, so she had dark skin. Noblewoman, wife of Antipater the Edom, the Idumean. I forgot her name. Let me do it this way. Who is the mother of Herod the Great? The Great. I can't remember her name. Herod the Great's firstborn son. I didn't know I was going to go this route. That he had more than one wife. But she was a Nabatean, meaning she was an Arab. So anyway, let me come back over here. Okay, I don't want this. Okay. Herodian dynasty, Antipater, Idumean, the progenitor of the Herodian dynasty, along with Judean progenitors that ruled Judea after the Roman conquest, was of Idumean origin. Under Herod the Great, the Idumean province was ruled for him by a series of governors, among whom were his brother Joseph ben Antipater. Because they started, what they did, they mixed themselves, they intermarried for a reason, because they wanted to be the chosen people. So they figured if we mingle ourselves among them, we can be saved. But you can't be saved if you're an Edomite. Joseph ben Antipater and his brother-in-law Costobarus. Overall, I'm just trying to find something here. For example, a minority of contemporary Jews, which are the Israelites, argued Herod could not be Jewish. He could not be a Jew because of his, I didn't know who was going to say this. It says, for example, a minority of contemporary Israelites argued Herod could not be Jew or Jewish because of his genealogical origins. These beliefs were promoted by works such as Jubilees and whatever the hell that means, which were of essence Hasidian Sadducees, which are Israelites. So when you go back during the time of the Messiah, you had Edomites that wanted to be us. And they succeeded. That's why they're in the land. But it goes, this is not a new thing. This is not a thing that came up, in the mind of the Rothschilds. We're going back 2,000 years. Actually, more than 2,000 years. It says these Jews did not openly express their views because Herod violently suppress critics, and that's what they do now. When you say something against them, they cut you off because they want to keep that lie going. Okay, sages Herod because he supported the Sadducees because he was kissing their asses, and then it was the Romans that said he gonna be the king. Herod the Great is gonna be the king, which all the children and grandchildren that came out of Antipater look like Israelites who oppressed the Pharisees. So that's why you had described the Pharisees, the priests, they were all kissing his ass. It says by 66, I think this is it, by 66 CE, which is the common era, during the first Jewish-Roman wars, this is 70 AD, the Zealot leader Simon Bar Giora attacked the Jewish converts of upper. Who are the Jewish converts? There were many nations that did that, but these Edomites. Remember, John Hyrcanus, the high priest, he burnt a lot of them and killed them, and he spared some of them. He said, "I'm gonna spare you, but you gotta follow the laws." And they said, and rather than dying, they said, "We'll follow the laws." So when they had children, they were saying that they're the people, and they got to mingle themselves with the real people. And this is what St. John 4 is all about. The woman at the well. You got certain Israelite groups that say, "Oh, she was an Israelite." She was not an Israelite. When you read it the correct way, the Lord was cursing her out, and the Lord pretty much dismissed her, And then she went saying, "This is a man, the Lord." She knew that this was the Messiah because Israel wasn't waiting for the Messiah. The other nations, look, hip hop. I was listening to some show. Somebody said this, that he said hip hop is all over the planet Earth. You got Jakes, you got singers and rappers and so forth that go around the world. This guy was saying if you go to Russia, they trying to act like Jake. If you go to China, they're trying to act like everybody around the world is trying to be Jake, and they're trying to rap, do hip hop, rhythm and blues, R&B. So the same thing happened back then. Everybody wanted to be us. It says, so the leader of the Zealot leader, he attacked him. He said, "Man, we're going to kill. They want to be us. They ain't us." So let's come back over here. Jews argued Herod, which is the Edomite, the Idumean, could not be Jewish because of his genealogical origin. Your father doesn't go back to the Israelites. And this is what we tell people today. You got to go by what your father's father's father is. And a guy that looked like an Edomite, he said, "My great-great-grandfather on my father's side is Cherokee Indian." Here's a picture of me, dark Cherokee Indian. But you have to be a Jake, even though you look like an Edomite. So what we're going through now, people trying to be the people of the Most High, they went through that back then. even to the point, and I'm going to read it, to where the Edomites during 70 AD, they were fighting other Edomites, which was the Herod's. There was a whole line of the Herods, the Herod dynasty. They had their own private army, which when you go into the scriptures and you put his men of war or his men of war, that's his personal army. So 70 AD, it wasn't we wasn't just fighting against the Roman, we were fighting against Herod's personal army. And they were the ones, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, maybe even days ago, that when they buffeted the Lord and beat him and it was Edomites that did that. It wasn't Romans. Then they sent him to Pilate, and Pilate had the Romans go and crucify them. So when Herod, the son of Herod the Great, he already knew about him. Pontius Pilate knew about him. The high priest knew. They already knew about him. They heard about the miracles that he did. He had fame. It tells you that in the scriptures. That he had fame. If I go, matter of fact, let me do this. Fame. Right here, destruction and death, Job 28:20, destruction and death say, we have heard the fame thereof with our ears. People are hearing about this destruction that's going to take place on Babylon, and it's going to come. And you know, Edomites, they listen to us very closely, and they're nervous. In the back of their minds, they're saying, what if this is all true? Jeremiah 6:24. We have heard the fame thereof, and thereof our hands wax feeble. Anguish hath taken hold of us, and pain as of a woman in travail. And that's what's going to happen to them. It's going to get closer and closer to this destruction. And you know, they already know what these elite people are doing. They're saying in their mind, what if these are the people? But to confirm it, they're digging up everything. They said below this applies to us. This applies to us. See, now we're infamous. There's going to come a time where we're going to be famous, which is a positive. Infamous is to be famous for doing, for something bad. Hitler would be called infamous. Everybody know about Hitler. But he's called infamous. It said, behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, the Israelites, and I will save her that halteth, and gather her, the Israelites, that was driven out. Driven out of what? The land. And I will get them, the Israelites, starting with the elect, praise and fame in every land where they had been put to shame. The main land is here in America. Okay, I could read this one, but I want to. Okay, let's do this. Matthew 4:24, and his fame went through all Syria, and they brought unto him all sick people. Now, when you heal somebody, they blind, people gonna come out the woodwork lining up to get healed, that were taken with diverse diseases and torments, and those which were possessed with devils, and those which were lunatic, and those that had the palsy, and he healed them. And I believe the palsy is your immune autoimmune disease, severe autoimmune disease. But I got to go into it. Right, it says, and the fame, or his fame hereof, went abroad into all the land. Our fame is going to go throughout the whole planet. It said this gospel shall be preached throughout the whole world in a global sense, and then the end shall come. So the web did that for us. But they, when they were departed, the son of okay, this is what I wanted. At that time, Herod the Tetrarch heard of the fame of Yahushua. So when Herod finally met face to face with Yahushua, he was hoping that he was going to perform a miracle. And Yahushua ignored him, and he's like, F you too. Beat the shit out this guy. That's what he did. So when he got beat and buffeted, it wasn't by the Romans. It was given to Pilate, and then the Roman soldiers had him crucified. Now, did they beat him up too? But it was the Edomites, the personal army, that did that. Mark 1:28, and immediately his fame spread abroad throughout all the region round about Galilee. But this time, the fame of the prophets of Israel is going to be a worldwide fame. So now let me come back over here. So this guy, the leader of the Zealots, right, attacked the Jewish converts, the Edomites that were following the laws. He said, just destroy them. Of Upper Idumea, and brought near complete destruction to the surrounding villages and courtsides in that region. It was part of his wider plan to attack Jerusalem and seize authority for himself. According to Josephus, during the siege of Jerusalem, 70 A.D., Titus, we know who Titus is, 20,000 Idumeans under the leadership of John, Simon, these were Jakes, Phineas, and Jacob, joined the Zealots as they besieged the temple. It said 20,000 Edomites, Idumeans, joined us. They were fighting side by side with us. Why? Because, okay, let me come over here. Because they wanted to be us. So they wanted to prove, look, we're fighting for you. Right? Let me see. 70 AD, 20,000 leadership. Besieged the temple. Idumean zealotry. So you had Edomites, Idumeans that were zealots. Arguably reflecting their attempts to, arguably reflected their attempts to prove their Israeliteness. Look, we're willing to die to be one of you guys. After the Jewish-Roman wars, the Idumean people disappeared from written history. Yeah, but did they disappear? Vocab. Did they completely disappear? There's no record on them. Yeah, because they destroyed the records. If there's people, there's always going to be records. Okay? Because at first you Christians said, well, we can't be Edomites. You say it to us, the Israelites. We can't be Edomites because the Edomites were destroyed during the time of the Maccabees. And y'all people first of all, you're saying the Maccabees is not accepted text, but then you use it to say, oh, the Edomites were destroyed. Well, if all the Edomites were destroyed, how did these 20,000 Edomites come about? How did the Edomites that was under the house of Herod come about? So they wasn't destroyed. So Vocab made a slick remark. Oh, there's no history after the Herodians. Okay, There's certain people in this earth that don't have no history, man. In these remote islands. You have very little history of certain people in remote islands around the world. But there's history. As long as somebody was able to write, there is history. Okay, Idumean Zealotry. Idumean Zealot arguably reflected their attempts to prove their Jewishness. After the Jewish-Roman Wars, which was 70 AD, the Idumean people disappeared from written history, though the geographical region of Idumea is still referred to at the time of Jerome. It doesn't tell you the exact time period of Jerome. Now, he's supposed to be a Jake. Give you a lot of references in the Josephus. Now they're saying that Quaz is a goddess, but then they say, oh, he's a god. But this is what he looks like Dr. Brown. He looks just like him. Look like Barry Manilow. If you got a side view, see the big schnoz. It says religion. The nature of Edomite religion. Now, during the time of 70 AD, they were following the laws. They weren't following Quaz at that time. Religion is largely unknown before their conversion to what? There it goes again. Their conversion to being Israelites by the Hasmoneans, which are the Maccabees. Epigraphical evidence suggests that the national god of Edom was Quaz. And here it is in the Hebrew, Kwawas, also known as Quaz, Quash, Kaz, Kos, and Quas. Since Quaz is invoked in the blessing formula. I'm sorry, these letters are moving. Formula and letters and appeared in personal name found in ancient Edom. So a people just can't disappear. Okay, so it says, it says in the letters appeared a personal name found in the ancient Edom or Idumea as close relatives of other Levitian Semites, because Edomites are Semites, and Arabs, which are Semites. They seem to have worshipped such gods as El, which is Allah, Baal, and Uzzah. And some Jewish tradition stemming from the Talmud, which is, we don't deal with that book, the descendants of E are the... we already know that, but it's becoming common knowledge. So in the Talmud, as King Marshall would say, the Talmudi. The Talmud, it says, in the Jewish tradition stemming from the Talmud, the descendants of E are the Romans, and to a large extent, all Europeans. And like Amathia said, close the book, close the book. I don't gotta read no more. I don't gotta read no more. It's telling you right there that the Talmud vocab, you're an apologist for those people, right? Well, they subscribe to the Talmud. So they're saying out of the Talmud, it said, look, we know you Romans are descended from the Edomites. As a matter of fact, and to a large extent, all Europeans. Now they're going to probably take this video down. And this is coming from Wikipedia. Wow. To portray several Edomite persons as pious. Right, pious, meaning holy. Clues about their Edomite heritage appear to be hidden in their theophoric names. Theo meaning God. Now there was something that it said, let me see if I can find it. It said that they were Hellenized. Okay. Let me come to the top. So this is all about the Idumeans, right? Edom. Okay, so right here, Hellenistic period, right? During the Hellenistic period covers the time in the Greek history after the classic Greeks, between the death of Alexander the Great in the year 323 BC and the death of Cleopatra the 7 and 30 BC. So between even before that, but 323 to 30, so we're talking about 100 years. I'm sorry, is it 100 years? Actually, it's more than 100 years. It's almost 300 years, a little less than 300 years during the time of the Greek period, which was followed by the ascendancy of the Roman Empire. So the Roman Empire came after the power of the Greeks. The order is the Babylonians, Medo-Persians, the Greeks, and the Romans. And that's in your secular history. So it says during the Hellenistic period, we found out what that was. Both Israelites and Idumeans spoke Aramaic, which is Hebrew, and used it for literary and legal documents. An Idumean marriage contract from Maresha, dated from 176 BCE, 176 years before the birth of the Messiah, closely resembled a ketubot used by Jews or Israelites. So back there they were following us, right? It says, however, despite these cultural similarities, because they were Semitic and we were Semitic, they spoke Hebrew. Esau spoke Hebrew. His father and his mother were Hebrews. His brother was a Hebrew. Some Jews or Israelites maintained a distinct boundary between themselves and the Edomites. We were the original races. Listen, man, y'all get over there. Get the hell over there. So that's the payback for them. That's why they hate us. That hate is a spiritual hate. You know, you got them Karens walking around. That's a spiritual hate. These Edomite cops that beat you down and kill you, that's a spiritual hate. And see, Jake doesn't understand that because we did that to them. What they do to us, we did to them. We look at the Edomite and just beat them to death. And we enslaved them. Remember, David enslaved them. He put garrisons around them. This is evident in Ben Sira. Give me a second. 50:25 to 26, which express a disdain for for 3 nations, including, ooh, disdain means deep hatred. They showing us hate because we showed them hate. So they're paying us back. Ezekiel 25:12. They got vengeance on us when they came back as the Romans. Oh, we got them now. We got them now. Including the inhabitants of Seir, Ben Sirah 50:25-26, which expresses disdain or hatred for 3 nations, including the inhabitants of Seir, referring to the Idumeans. During the revolt of the Maccabees against the Seleucids, which were Edomites, which was Antiochus and the Seleucid line kingdom. Second Maccabees refers to the Seleucid general named Gorgias as governor of Idumea, whether he was a Greek or a Hellenized Edomite. Ooh! Whether he was a Greek or a Hellenized Edomite. Who came up with the concept of Hellenization? It was Jake. Those different gods, Zeus, the various Greek gods, that was Jake, because the original Zeus and Poseidon and what's the one, the underground, Hades, Apollo and so forth. But the head god was Zeus. They were all Jakes. It says so Edomites learned the Greek culture from the sons of Japhet and Jake. We made Greece great. Idumeans is unknown. Some scholars maintain, let me do this. Some scholars maintain that the reference to Idumeans in that passage is an error altogether. Yeah, they say that now. Nah, that ain't them people. Because they got to make you believe that the Edomites were black and they just disappeared. They don't, because when they say, oh, they came up under Greek, culture. So you say, well, who are the Greeks? The Greeks are white people. So you can understand. According to Josephus, the Judeans under Judas Maccabees first defeated the Idumeans in the 2 Idumean border towns of Hebron. Hey, Hebron is in that land. Hebron is still around today. Marisa and plundered them, meaning beat the shit out of them and took what they had around 163 BC. And that was during the time period of the Maccabees. About 50 years later, Judeans under John Hyrcanus I again attack. Let me mark this. Again attack Myresia and the nearby Adorium, according to the Josephus, and Ammonius Gramuticus. Hyrcanus conquered the cities of Marisa, which is an Edomite city, and Adorium, forcibly converting all Idumeans to Judaism or keeping the laws, and incorporated them into the what? The Israelite nation. So you had Israelites that had, the Israelite men that was dealing with the Edomite women. You had a lot of light-skinned Israelites back then as well. Wow, this is heavy. Let me just read this and I'm gonna get ready to close. Hyrcanus also captured the Idumean city of Adora and Marisa and left, and then we were taking their women too. We were taking their women and they're giving them babies and all that. That's why you got Israelites with long hair, you know, straight hair, curly hair. You got Israelites that were lighter skin, darker skin, medium skin. And after subduing all the Idumeans, permitted them to remain in their country as long as they had themselves circumcised and were willing to observe the laws of the Jews. So that's what it's all about. So they said, "No, we'll do that. If we can stay alive, we'll follow the laws. We'll get circumcised." So now people say the small heads came from Kazakh. That's partially true. Before the Kazakhs, they were already under the laws, man. They were already under the laws. So these Edomites, at a certain point in history, they always mingled with us. So you're going to have a lot of Jakes that are actually Edomites, and you're going to have a lot of people that look like Edomites, blonde hair, blue eyes, Scandinavian looking. They straight up Jake. Anyway, with that, Shalom, on to the next.